Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our Poetry Awards contest. My name is Ted Rosen, and I'm the mayor of the village of Great Neck Plaza. And on behalf of myself and Deputy Mayor Pamela Markscheidt, who's with us today, and the other members of the Board of Trustees of Great Neck Plaza, we are very happy that you are able to join with us today. I also welcome you on behalf of our village's poetry coordinator, Carolyn Raphael, who makes all this possible. And I'm very pleased to note that with us today is Mayor Jean Selander, my predecessor, and under her mayoralty, she was responsible for starting and carrying this program for many years. We are delighted to be able to present this program. And as I said, we're very happy that you're all with us today. Just want to note that this program is being recorded and that it will be broadcast on North Shore TV. It's scheduled to be broadcast on Friday, April 19th, which I believe is International Art Day, and may be also broadcast at other subsequent times. We in Great Neck Plaza pride ourselves on being first on many different things. Years ago, we were the first village to pass a law banning cigarette vending machines. We were among the first villages, perhaps the first one, perhaps, to take on the challenge of affordable housing. And I'll note with pride that just recently, a ranking website, niche.com, just ranked us, our village, as the #1 best place to live in New York State. And we were also ranked #1 in various other categories. And we're very proud of that.
Nice.
Our desire to be among the first has applied to other types of poetry efforts. We were the first village to hold a poetry reading in a courtroom, or village courtroom.
Hey.
We believe we were one of the first villages, if not the only village, to have a poet, Tom Dish, read his works from the witness stand in the courtroom after being sworn in at his request. As I've said before at prior Poetry Awards programs, I personally am not someone who is or has been committed to reading or writing poetry. Before we started our poetry program, to the best of my recollection, I had never attended a poetry reading, but I do know that words have power, and they have the power to persuade people. Over the years, attending our village poetry programs and listening to the poetry that has been read during these programs, all of that has helped me appreciate even more the power of words to paint imagery, to create beauty, evoke thought, and to stir emotions. As I stated in prior Village Poetry Awards programs, we in the Village of Great Neck Plaza believe that village government is and should be involved in many different things, including among those supporting the arts. In the Village of Great Neck Plaza, we have tried to do that. We have public art, the Trump Loy on Maple Street, Maple Drive, again, due to the efforts of former Mayor Jean Selander. The mural in the train station plaza, again, thanks to Jean. Art exhibits in the Village Hall. And we are very proud that we have our summer concert series, and everybody here is invited. Tuesday nights, every week in the summer, beginning the week before July 4th and continuing through the week before Labor Day. And of course, very important in our valuing of the arts is this, our annual poetry program. It's a very important part of the way we try to support the arts. We like to say that Great Neck Plaza is a poetry village. Our village poetry coordinator, Carolyn Raphael, without whom none of our village poetry programs would ever have happened, is a poet, and she is a champion of poetry. Our village's promotion of poetry has been accomplished in a variety of ways. First, we ran a poetry series called Poetry Sundays that featured such poets as Tom Dish, X.J. Kennedy, and George Northrup. We then introduced a program called Poetry in the Plaza, which posted a different poem throughout the village, both on outdoor signposts as well as in the lobby of the village hall and in the waiting room of the Great Neck Long Island Railroad train station. And now we are celebrating our 14th Great Neck Plaza Poetry Contest Awards program as a way to commemorate Poetry Month. I would like to extend my own thank you to Carolyn for all that she has done to bring poetry to our village. Without Carolyn's guidance, expertise, and passion, none of this would have been possible. I would also like to thank this year's contest judge, Gail Teller, who's with us today. We're very pleased that she's here, for her dedication and hard work. And I would like to thank Violet Barron, Executive Director, newly appointed Executive Director of the Long Island Traditions, for all of her help and support. And also thank you to Nancy Solomon, who recently retired as Executive Director of Long Island Traditions, for all of her past help and support over many years. Thank you also to my assistant, Shannon Downey, for all of her work in helping to organize and administer this contest and this program. And a big thank you to Erica Bradley and Mike Peters, who's here with us today, of North Shore TV, for recording and later broadcasting this program. Again, as a reminder, this program is being recorded and will be broadcast on North Shore Public Access TV on April 19th, and perhaps also at additional times. And now I would like to thank in particular all of those that entered this year's contest. We could not have a poetry contest without poets. So we are especially grateful for all of you that submitted your work to our contest. And again, thank you all for attending today's program. Now I would like to introduce Carolyn Raphael. Carolyn Raphael retired from the English department at Queensborough Community College, part of CUNY, after more than 30 years of teaching. Her poems have appeared in journals, including Measure, Blue Unicorn, Oberon, Mesocammon, and also in the anthologies Verse Daily, Corona, edited by Gail Teller, our judge, and Palmanark Transitions, edited by Kathleen Donnelly. Carolyn is the author of 5 poetry books, the latest of which is Travelers on My Route, published by Kelsey Books in 2023. Carolyn is our poetry coordinator here in Great Neck Plaza, Great Neck, New York, where she works with myself, Shannon, my assistant, to organize this popular annual poetry contest and awards reading. Poetry in the Plaza, a favorite project of hers, places a poem each month on local bulletin boards and on the village website. Her website, Carolyn's website, is carolynraphaelpoetry.com. And now it is my pleasure to present the poetry coordinator of the village of Great Neck Plaza, my neighbor and my friend, Carolyn Raphael. Hope everyone here enjoys today's program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you, and welcome to Poetry Month and to our 14th Great Neck Plaza Poetry Contest Awards reading. We're delighted to offer our reading via Zoom and to welcome our winners and guests. As a brief respite from the troubles of our world, we offer the beauty of poetry. Many of the people who have helped with this have been mentioned, and I won't take your time to thank them again, although I am grateful. I just want to add that Sharon Strongen is an artist who puts the poems into beautiful settings, and that's how we place them in various places around town every month. And all of the winners will have their poems placed on the website and around town. And the website is www.greatneckplaza.net. Okay. If you don't mind, I will read a very short poem of mine to show you that I belong here too, because the rest of it is all yours. I saw on a video program an 11-year-old, she's much older now, this is about 10 years ago, an 11-year-old Israeli violinist named Masha Mershon. And she was playing the meditation solo on the violin from Massenet's opera Thais. And I was struck not only by how beautifully she played, but the expression on her face. She was transported. So I wrote a poem called Rapture. Eyes closed, lips slightly parted, Masha plays the lovely intermezzo from Thais. Transported, where? Where does a young girl go? From time to time, she opens her eyes, looks briefly at the conductor, resumes the sweet refrain. Unlike Thais, viewing the afterlife, the violinist honors this one, on stage, stroking the notes that lullaby her soul. Eyes closed, she sounds the high harmonic note that brings the traveler home, reluctantly. Thank you. Okay, now it's all yours.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Gail. First, I'd like to introduce our wonderful judge, Gail Teller, and tell you something about her. Nassau County Poet Laureate for 2009 to 11 and the Walt Whitman Birthplace 2016 Poet of the Year, Gail Teller is the author of 7 poetry collections, most recently Flashlight, New and Selected Poems, and the editor of 2 poet anthologies, Toward Forgiveness, awarded a New York State Decentralization Grant for the Arts, and another anthology, Corona, an anthology of poems. Director of the poetry series at the Mid-Island Y in Plainview for 35 years. I mean, that makes me gasp, having done this for 14 and I'm tired. 35 years. And a Hofstra University professor, she was selected as the 7th Quarry Press Poet of the Month for February 2022 in Swansea, Wales. And she's been the recipient of the Westmoreland Arts and Heritage Poetry Award, the Edgar Allan Poe Prize, a National League of American Pen Women Prize, goes on, the Peninsula Library Poetry Prize, a National Federation of State Poetry Societies Prize, the Artists Embassy International Poetry Award, and others, believe it or not. Her website, www.gailteller.com. And I give you Gail Teller, who is going to read a couple of her poems at our request. Gail.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I just would like to say, first of all, I was honored to judge this contest. I want to thank Mayor Ted Rosen and Carolyn and all those involved with the Great Neck Plaza. Support of the arts. The town is so passionate about the arts. It's just wonderful that you encourage the arts so much. That it really was a distinct honor to judge this contest. The entries were superb. It was not difficult. It was difficult to choose winners because after narrowing it down to 50, there were 50 wonderful entries out of 150. But then I had to make choices. But anyway, thank you all for entrusting me with your poems. It was a great honor, really. So I will read 2 of my poems. The first one is dedicated to my son, who is now a father, and he lives in Maryland. He has 2 children of his own. The poem is called Zoom. First, I would like to say what he did years ago was he pasted on the ceiling of his room the cosmos with stickers. and it's still there. And I still look up at it, remember his cosmos. The poem is called Zoom because I like the pun on the word Zoom. One is that obviously Zoom is an internet medium, which we're all sharing, but it refers to the speed of time. And so I like that pun. Zoom. He left me his cosmos, nearly invisible by day, but at night, overhead, it glows with the simultaneity of time in the Zoom frame of my mind. The pull like gravity to the black holes at his knees in his pajamas, because he could crawl faster than he could walk at one. Zoom piloting the amusement park plane, looking for my wave with each orbit, zooming off in a jet to Duke University, a comet's tail blowing through his gown, PhD. Zoom. There he is in the Zoom frame, being interviewed before the election. Zoom. His children like shooting stars of their own hoops off to UVA, LSU, learning to steer their own wheels. In the emptiness of his room, he's the guest of my knowing, his zooming maturity. I take partly as my own accomplishment. After the astronomy jamboree, when we were stunned for our thoughts on dark matter's gravity or the essence of dark energy's repulsion, I didn't even see his constructing his Milky Way, his sweep of stars, his own sense of cosmos, as he placed each sticker on his ceiling. I was inattentive to his wondrous mysteries as I watched over him, lying asleep, the dark night, fingering his fevers. The snowman he built, a sentinel in our yard, the beet eyes bleeding out larger and larger, beautifully menacing from the day's fun. Now I know why the Eskimos have so many different words for snow. I tell the painter, removing the dents and scratches across his growing room, to please not coat over the ceiling where I can see his shining is never spent, just as the stars shine long after their years.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you. And one more. This one is dedicated to my neighbors. In the nestle of neighbors. When one has lived a long time in the same place, shared wakes and confetti with the same people, even a hand wave or shout out from afar or from across the driveway is enough to jar my endorphins. Hey, how was your holiday? Ate too much. Got your package. How's your toe? When's Florida? Wednesday. We'll send up some sun. A few words is all it takes, and I feel good. Joey made Northeastern. In the percussion of birds and power tools, neighbors' voices are the pulse of my world. As I jog on my habitual route, slower now, after all these years, the hey hunger, gnawing inside after spates of rainy days, looking good shouts a friend on her knees in her garden. You make the reservation. I'll bring my appetite. Even in the horn of hello, there's the sense of plenty from the tutor in his drive-by, or in the cheery, how you doing? From the one I know just by his door, or by his dog that he walks, though I know he won't stay for a full answer, as he passes like a song sparrow, quick to feed on the move. And more in the sliding out from under her car with a tool, as I recognize my friend, my forever neighbor. Her gift of plenty is the promise of tangible warmth as she shares her rising news in her piercing voice of her son's empowerment, and in the determination of the Naiad swim from Cuba to Florida, my neighbor, who could not walk a single step for 2 years, blows a kiss as he rises from his wheelchair, and with each step goes bucking the wild winds of his body as he hobbles his way down the street fragment of his world. And in her big smile of plenty, the girl who feeds our feral cats, waters our houseplants, safeguards our house key, greets me as she walks home from school, the cerulean blue of her backpack catching some vastness of the sky as she kindles my knowing. What I love will be cared for when I leave on vacation for 2 weeks in the comfort of the nestle of neighbors I can take with me. I've been thinking for a long time about kinship, however shackled by war, cruelty, hatred's despairing news. I welcome these ordinary truths, the exuberant high five from a little boy. I knew you when you were in there. I point at his mommy's tummy. We giggle. I welcome these familiar voices. They're bright, funny, piercing, poignant views, each scrap of greeting made amidst other preoccupations, each chat, exchange of hellos, or simply a nod, has an outsized effect of being enough. I've experienced the engines of generosity, powered by simple gestures, the one neighbor erecting a wing-toppled trash bin of another, then sweeping in the strewn garbage just as his own. The gifts of transport and homemade hot soup from the one undergoing chemotherapy treatments, the power line stretching out across the street like an umbilical cord, linking the life force of one house to another during a frightening hurricane. My neighbor heaving and pushing his snowblower, blasting our walkways to the clarity of love and concern. Everyone has an understory, lots of unfinished, tangling news of life and death. We even feed on each other's unspoken words. I need this connection. The what's up from a neighbor is like the best in spring, the perennial rebirth, the delicate shoot reaching up through the cold. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Gail. Now people know why we made you the judge. Our first honorable mention, we're going to start with that in alphabetical order, is Linda Calabrese for her poem Franklin K. Mars. Unfortunately, Linda had a family emergency and can't be here today, but she asked me if I would read it. So let me tell you a little bit about her and then read her unusual
That's
poem.
Barbara Siegel, who wrote
Oh,
Franklin
Linda.
K. Mars.
Linda Calabrese, right?
She wrote Uninvited Guests. Am I wrong?
No, Linda wrote Franklin K. Mars. I have her poem in front of me. Check it, Gail. But I think it's right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you about Linda Calabrese. Very short, cute bio. I am married almost 50 years, have 3 children and 6 grandkids. I have written 2 novels and a children's book with my 8-year-old granddaughter's illustrations. Short and charming. And her poem is unusual too. It's written in rhymed couplets and also with frequent anapaests, 2 unstressed stressed syllable, not that common. And it's an interesting poem. It's called Franklin K. Mars. There, midst the holly and bells and the lights, lay the body of Franklin K. Mars. He came to his end as he lived his whole life, surrounded by ramparts and bars. No wife called him sweetie, no boy called him pa, no daughter to grieve he was dead. Just a cat with no name that was there for the mice and a fish in a bowl by the bed. The servants hung garland in too many rooms, on too many mantels and sills. From too many staircases, stockings were hung that stayed empty and never were filled. The tree looked quite merry, with glittering stars, and a door had a glorious wreath, but the room still looked empty and painfully bare, with no presence underneath. There was no aroma of peppermint tea or sweet-smelling fireplace wood. The house smelled of lemon, of polish and pine from the servants who did what they could. There never was toffee or taffy to savor, no eggnog or Christmas time candy. All that was served in that house on the hill was one single glass with some brandy. He grumbled when greeted, he never did smile, and his eyes faced the floor when he walked. He never looked into your eyes if you spoke, and muttered at best when he talked. His stature was slight, his posture was bent, and a mumble was all of his voice. A man who had lived his whole life all alone, I might add, was his choice. Not one single person broke through that facade, the wall that he built for protection. Like the gates on his house, he had fenced himself in, a prisoner of his isolation. The estate of the once living Franklin K. Mars was a fortune, or so they say. To contemplate who would inherit it all was a game that the neighbors would play. The lawyers were shocked at the festive decor when they went there to gather his will, for no one had ventured to visit that house, the house at the top of the hill. The kids called it haunted, the men stayed away, and the women, well, they were in awe of the house that stood nestled atop of the hill, the one with the wreath on the door. No one had bothered to ask his whole life what the K in his name signified. Just one extra letter for the carver to carve when Franklin K. Mars had died.
Thank you. Shall I say why I picked that one?
Oh, I would love that. Thank you.
I just want to. Okay. Franklin K. Morris is a moving portrait of a lonely man locked in his own self-imposed cage of isolation. The poem has a keen sense of the physicality and rhythms of language that evoke his self-satisfied yet self-destructive prison.
Thank you. Our second honorable mention is Barbara Siegel, who won for her poem Uninvited Guests. Let me tell you a little bit about Barbara. Barbara Siegel is a prize-winning poet and visual artist, deeply influenced by the mystical worlds of nature and spirit. Her poems are published in numerous poetry journals and anthologies, including Almanac, Transition, Oberon, Mobius, Corona, Long Island Sounds, Bard's Annual, NCPL Review, the online daily haiku universe, and both the PPA Review and PPA Haiku contest, for which she was twice a first prize winner. She's a long-standing member of Poets Circle, a women's poetry group. Her chapbook, The Secret Road, Walking with Persephone, was published by Finishing Line Press. She lives with her husband, author Michael Sears, in the village of Seacliff, New York. I give you Barbara. Is she there? I think
I can say why I chose this poem.
Okay, and maybe
Okay.
if she doesn't respond, you can read it for us.
Barbara, you're muted, just
You
so
have to
you.
unmute, Barbara.
I hit the wrong button.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Let me say why I chose your poem.
good.
Wonderful.
Uninvited Guests depicts the growth and development of a moral dilemma when the speaker, ethically a Buddhist who reveres life, is confronted with an invasion of ants. The dimensions of the conflict resonate out much larger long after the situation is resolved. Congratulations.
Thank you. Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Mayor Rosen. And it's such an honor to be in this group of poet winners. So I thought I was going to be the last reader, but here we are. Uninvited guests. It's no picnic, but they've arrived and leave with whatever they want. My tuxedo cat, Penelope, doesn't seem to mind. They take so little at any time. Don't arouse her killer hunter side. No, these guys are small. Show up as just a few. Enter, it seems, by our back door. Meander across the kitchen floor, following winter's melt and rains. They just need a dry, warm respite, are merely passing through for sure. But now they've told their uncles and aunts, brothers and sisters, and multiple others to come on in. A tiny highway now advances, a long line of wee black antses, over baseboards and up the wall. I open the cabinet where the honey sits, amidst Earl Grey, English breakfast, and green. Find a few wrapped insolently around the jar. Then notice a stream where they're making a haul. No longer content with cat's kibble. Give them an inch, I start to think. Yet, being of the Buddhist mind, I do not want to harm, can share. But the honey jar? That's going too far. They've not packed their bags and disappeared, but continue to encroach and launch my fears. I see subterranean cities, colonies, workers, and eggs, my house foundation faltering, sinking. My gut and I recoil in near tears. They walk right by the traps I've bought, are showing not even a jot of care. Continuing on their rent-free visit, they now show up in my pantry. Ahimsa, the name for do no harm, is well and good. But then, when your kitchen's the neighborhood, the maxim to live and let live, and the intention to add no more poison to Mother Earth just doesn't cut it anymore. I buckle and call pest control. Must wait a few weeks for them to come. Start to hear the strains, to face the music, that childhood song that now thrums and throbs unremittingly in my ears. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. And I sadly but resolutely vow it will be their last hurrah. Thank you.
Thank you. We all know, not all, many of us know about that problem, and you express it beautifully. Okay, our third place winner is Gladys Henderson for her poem Fishing Highland Lake on a July Morning. She'll read her winning poem and a few others. Let me tell you about her writing. Gladys Henderson's poems are widely published and have been featured on PBS Channel 21 in their production Shoreline Sonata. Her work has appeared in numerous journals and anthologies. She was co-editor of the anthology Leaves of Me, published by Early Lilacs Press in 2019. Nationally, she was a finalist for the Plaza Poetry Prize of 2006 and has received recognition in the Writer's Digest poetry competitions 2008, 9, and 12. Finishing Line Press published her chapbook Eclipse of Heaven in 2008. She was named the Walt Whitman Birthplace Poet of the Year in 2010 and was chosen Poet Laureate of Suffolk County 2017 to 2019. Gail, tell them about her.
Fishing Highland Lake on a July morning vividly portrays the experience of love between parents and child, retrospectively in the reminiscence of the grown child. The fishing experience is so concretely realized that the reader is transported into the riches of the trip as the language vibrates more and more into deeper spirituality.
That's nice. Gladys? Is she there?
You're
She
muted. I hear.
Gladys?
And thank you so much
You got it.
for that wonderful introduction, Gail, for that poem. And thank you, Carolyn and Mayor, for having this wonderful event for these years. It's a really fabulous event, and I'm so fortunate, so blessed, and so honored, Gail, for your selecting my poem. Thank you all. Fishing Highland Lake on a July morning. It was on that lake my father taught me how to fish. A unique skill for a girl, but a currency in my family that purchased recognition. And from that tango, I learned to dance with earthworms, fishing poles, and cork bobbers. We would awaken early, dress for the day, mother with her straw hat, and house-dress dad in his brown trousers and plaid wool shirt, and me in an oversized tee and baggy pants. After breakfast, we would walk the dirt road down to the lake. I raced ahead of them, swimming in the air of freedom. The thrum of creation hovered above my head. I could hear its strumming. Pastures busy with grasshoppers, flowering chicory, Queen Anne's lace, and feral flowers whose names I will never know. My hands touched as many as there was time. My nose memorized each scent as it lay on my mind's palette, a wakefulness that lasted a lifetime. At the shoreline, Dad walked the dock and tied the boat. There was wisdom to our boarding. I was first. My father, the captain, was in charge. Take my hand, hold on to the sides, walk in the middle, and sit in the bow. Mom was second, a very plump woman who feared falling into the lake. She didn't know how to swim. As she stepped into the boat, her alarms echoed across the still morning. The dinghy rocked like a carnival ride. I held on for my life. Oh, Pete, hold on to me. Oh, no. Oh, Pete, no, don't rush me. Don't rush me. Don't rush me. Once she settled in the stern, Dad would stand, oar in hand, and with a skillful push, against the lake's bottom, we would be afloat. You would gondolier us away from shore into the deeper water. Once satisfied that we wouldn't catch bottom, he'd row us towards small coves rimmed with arrowroot bushes and tall pickerel weed, places where fish are likely to hide. My fingers trailed behind us in the cool water, creating small rivulets with bubbles, lines of a musical score whose notes, like time, dissolved into quiet rest, then disappeared. We would float in silence across the tops of water lilies, their creamy white flowers scenting the July heat. I'd reach into the water to catch the blossoms, like golden rings on a merry-go-round. Grace notes I placed into my mother's hands.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
You were going to read another one?
Yes, another. Yep. This is another boat ride, but it's a different one. It's a mail boat that took its passengers out to Mohegan Island, Maine, and that's a 15-mile trip from the land, and it's on sea the whole time. Boat ride to Mohegan Island, Maine. The ocean breaks green when it strikes the island, foams with white, angry spit. A small trawler has stalled our arrival. The crew tries to offload quickly, but the force of the waves makes it a difficult task. The bow bangs against the dock as if it is an enraged creature that wants to escape. Our captain circles the landing ramp, passing through whirlpools of waves he has created. The hull pitches violently, a roller coaster that has lost its track. The few passengers still standing lock their knees to avoid falling. We are like a school of fish swimming the harbor, circling in closed rank, changing directions with the force of the tide. The mate tells me it doesn't matter if you fall in, you'll die from hypothermia before you drown. I ask for life vests anyway. Tell them I'll take my chances. I decide to escape my worries during those roller coaster moments by reminiscing. I think of the cedars and their lush aroma in the wind, the softness of your hand in mine as you walked me up the hill. Sea fog as it moved off the ocean and flowed down the main road, incensing the Vaughan house where we stay. Beach roses climbing the trellis, just as it was in the Wyatt painting. The pantry with spices whose use-by dates were 20 years prior. The lights that were all gas. When you lit them, they popped, flamed high till you tapered them down. And that nectarine pie, perhaps the best I would make, so scrumptious and sweet, with the fragrance of ripe fruit, butter, and cinnamon. And yes, the unmade bed after an evening of love. Oh my, how delicious the tides of waiting and the savor of their luscious inconvenience.
Ah,
Thank you.
lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the winning poem, and thank you for reading that other one as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our second place winner is Vicky Iorio for her winning poem, How Long? She'll read her winning poem and a few others, I hope, since that was not very long. I'd love her to read.
Oh,
Okay.
well, let me say why I picked it. Okay.
I was gonna read it. Go ahead. I'll read the bio after.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read her bio.
No, don't be silly. Start. Go ahead.
Okay. How long? Asks a powerful question. Many new mothers probably feel in their depths but deny. Well selected details imply a wide range of mixed contradictory feelings when first meeting the stranger, the new baby.
No.
Ultimately, the poem stretches out to embrace larger dimensions of love's maturation that go beyond to any love between any two people. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you a little bit about Vicky. Vicky Iorio is the author of the poetry collections Poems from the Dirty Couch. I love the titles. Then Not Sorry, and the chapbook Send Me a Letter, and Something Fishy. The Blabbermouth, and that's from Alien Budapest. I didn't read all of them because it takes a long time, but I like the Blabbermouth too. Her poetry has appeared in numerous print and online journals, including the Painted Bride Quarterly, Rattle, Poets Respond Online, the Fernlit Magazine, and the American Journal of Poetry. When Vicky is not writing poems, she is either on her Peloton bike or drinking a crisp white wine. Lovely bio.
Well, thank you. I'm so honored to be amongst this esteemed company. And Gail, I loved your explanation because I had no idea what this is about. So I'll just, I just write them, I don't explain them. How long? How long does it take? I ask the delivery nurse as she scrapes afterbirth off my rubbery thighs. They clean her up, peel back my rough hospital sheet, put her on my chest, tweak my nipples in an act of lactate seduction. Oh, how I want a whiskey and the New York Times, a soap opera baby that cries off camera, fantasize about nannies and boarding schools. I hold her helpless body, gaze at her pulsing diamond fontanelle, and pretend.
That's really good. Okay.
I'll read the S track. After rescuing my daughter's beheaded, bobbing Barbie heads from the toilet's S trap, Dave, the plumber, tells me he's really an artist. We sit at my kitchen table scarred with glitter and science project stickers. He draws my profile on a piece of notebook paper with broken crayons. I emerge from the blues and pinks, a dash of orange for my regrets. I tell him I'm really a poet, not a housewife. Hungry, I offer him sardines, the only food left in my cupboard. He turns the key with the skill of a surgeon. We are both hit by the salty smell.
That's nice.
I just realized that I think I have a thing about plumbers because the next one's about after a hurricane, the only thing you want to see are electricians and plumbers. So this was after Sandy. Next time around, because no one needs a poet in a hurricane, I am coming back as a plumber. Everyone will want a piece of me when I arrive at your destruction in a spotless white panel truck armed with a shining toolkit. I will snake out your overflow, auger your inner core, unclog your fears. As I crouch in ass crack stance, replacing your bullcock, my perfect schism, be ribboned in a metallic thong, will make you hopeful. After I dredge the basement, remove fish, I will install red-hot nipples on your gas line, unpeel when I am done, take a hot shower, Consider my invoice, my magnum opus next time around.
Oh, lovely.
So I have a few more if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. I lived in Florida for a while, so I had some weird neighbors. Dear Stephen King, please come to my house. The neighbors across the street are aliens. The wife in a long-sleeved shroud, did I mention this is Florida, floats in the morning fog. They tore down their house. No, there was no structural damage, and built another house that looks like a spaceship. The roof is a landing pad for UFOs. They are up all night digging. I stay awake and watch them. The porta potty at the end of their property is Pepto-Bismol pink. Nighttime, there is a light show on its peaked roof. Do you know Morse code? I think they are contacting their home planet. People with massage envy stitched on the backs of their white coats make house calls at my neighbors. They are really scientists giving my neighbors humanoid transfusions. Mr. King, I need you here. The wife shovels in electrical storms and never gets struck by lightning. The husband wears bathing trunks and wool sweaters. Did I mention this is Florida? They both wear galoshes that look like Michael Jackson moon boots. Mr. King, something is weird. Sometimes the wife collapses on the lawn and just stays there like a corpse flower. The first time it happened, I almost called the EMTs. I threw out the homemade lemon bars they gave me. Should I have brought them to a lab? Please tell me, what would Stephen King do?
Oh, that's fun.
Like, speaking about my Peloton, it saved my life through the pandemic. Oh, to my interactive bike. I rode my interactive bike the day my mother died. Motion instead of emotion. My bike BFFs, who I don't know, but chat with daily on Facebook, understand. Exactly a month after my mother died, my cat died on the same couch cushion. Don't get all new agey on me. After Tracy, the vet tech, came to take away her little body, I jumped on the bike and did a mood ride. Yeah, that's a thing, mood, sad. So I could tear up and feel something. Interactive bike, my best pandemic friend. Instead of potato chips, I slurp electrolytes. Thanksgiving dinner companion. Instead of turkey, I do a turkey burn with fitness gods who really look at me through the screen, reach out their hands to me, tell me I'm okay. And that sleek bike seat, oh, to have something hard between my legs again. It's been a long time. Don't get all judgy on me. If you know, you know. My pre-interactive bike friend says I drank the Kool-Aid. I call it cool. She calls it a cult. I call it a culture. She tells me to go outside, join a bike club, meet real people. She is having an affair. I put on my wedding veil, Miss Havisham, crusty yellow, my laciest bra top and bike shorts, do a Hidden Hills ride, and marry my bike. So the next poem I want to dedicate to Judy because she loves this poem about Ringo Starr. So I had to read it for her. I thought Ringo would marry me. After Ringo and Maureen divorced, I thought I was a shoo-in. He would pick me out of a multitude of girls and wait for me to grow up. When I was in London, I saw Ringo drive an Aston Martin on Oxford Street. He didn't stop for a chubby college girl from Levittown, but went for a Bond girl. I thought Ringo Starr would marry me. Like Graham Nash singing Our House to Joni Mitchell, Ringo would sing to me about octopi and yellow submarines. When he sang, with a little help from my friends, he would give me a knowing wink. The last time I saw Ringo was in a Long Island theater in the round. Ringo was in an all-star band. My husband was having an affair, but we had tickets, so we went. On his way to the stage, Ringo stopped by my aisle seat. gave my soon-to-be ex a dirty look and squeezed my hand. His puppy dog eyes gazed into mine, and I knew it was love. And I have one more, and that's for my mom. What is the frequency? My mother always knew what was happening before the rest of us did. She sat in the carport with her transistor radio. The blackout of 1965, no mystery. My mother informed the neighborhood it was a power failure, not the Russians. When 9/11 happened on that beautiful fall day, the radio told my mother the news when the cell towers cut out. Before the latest hurricane, I put fresh batteries in my mother's transistor and followed the monster's path to my door. Now I need to know what batteries to buy to reach my mother, to transmit my news to her. The cat died. She was right about the neighbors. Trump still won't give up the ghost. At the end, she couldn't hear the radio announcers. She pressed the speaker to her ear. Traces of her pancake makeup are still on the radio's plastic cover. In the lonely hours, I turn the dials on her transistor radio. I get stations from far away. Some night, when the stars are on fire and there is a blood moon, a blue moon, a harvest moon, a full moon, I will reach her and tell her my news. Thank you very much.
That's lovely. I just wanted to say that now well, it's not now, but we know at moments like these with our readers why it's so important to hear poetry and not just read it on the page. Okay, so Mayor Rosen, we should have some kind of trumpet call now, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Okay, so imagine a lovely trumpet voluntary. And here we're announcing our first place winner, J.R. Judy Turek, for her poem, Other Lover. And I'll tell you about her, and then Gail will tell you why she chose her poem. J.R. Judy Turek, Superintendent of Poetry for the Long Island Fair, 2020 Hometown Hero by the East Meadow Herald, 2019 Long Island Poet of the Year, New York State 2017 Woman of Distinction, 27 years as moderator of the Farmingdale Creative Writing Groups, 2 pushcart nominations, editor, mentor, workshop leader, and author of 24 and 24, Midnight on the Eve of Never, B is for Betwixt and Between, A is for Almost Anything, Imagistics, and They Come and They Go. Her new book, Dog Speak, supports the North Shore Animal League, the world's largest no-kill shelter organization. The Purple Poet has written a poem a day for over 20 years. She lives on Long Island with her soulmate husband, Paul, her dogs, and her extraordinarily extensive shoe collection. And her line is msjevus, Jevus at optonline.net. And I give you Gail to tell her about it.
Okay, thank you. Other Lover is a carefully crafted, multi-evocative poem. At first, on one level, it boldly and frankly depicts how the heart is not a metronome, how no one person can meet all the needs of another. With subtle nuances of feelings, most would not admit in a voice of calm self-acceptance. In that sense, every loving relationship is shown as a unique creation between 2 unique beings. But on another level, when one lover is imaginary, a muse of creative power, much like the Phantom of the Opera, the poem evokes a deeper resolution, unlike the conflict evinced by the Phantom in the opera, because her own true lover can also be shown to be her muse. So congratulations, Judy.
Very nice. Okay, Judy, you're on. We're waiting.
Terrific. Thank you, Gail. Wow. Wow. Wonderful to see all the things I didn't see. And so thank you, Mayor
But
Rosa.
I saw.
Thank you for keeping poetry alive and vibrant. It's so commendable. It really is. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Other lover. He does not stand silent with arms folded, cadence of foot taps, long, exasperating sighs, as I skim through clearance racks of adornments, pick through produce, deliberate a dinner choice. He doesn't hold my cheek in soft caress, rifle fingers through my hair as he speaks to me a stream of endearments that vein from his heart, a skin-on-skin embrace. He never kisses my lips as my other lover does. He waits patient for me to beckon him, at times aloof to my needs, yet not in ire, as he does not judge me. In glorious times, he comes to me, spirit cradling all I could want, more than I can hold, and I am in reverence to his power, acquiesce to his reign over me. Nameless, I can only conjure him by thought, by action, by a desire deeper than any other, my other lover and I share. He is not, nor ever will be, my true love. He'll never prick a jealous thorn from his armor over his time spent with my soulmate. Never says a word against him, as he knows our time together transcends my other lover in a way we understand, but never show an outward affection. Both he and my other lover share chambers in my heart, so different from one another, and yet sometimes I see him, my muse, in the eyes of my other lover.
Very nice.
Thank you. And I'm celebrating dog speak. It's just a delight. These are 24 poems written in a 24-hour poetry marathon.
Ooh.
And so they're in the voice of dogs. And I'm delighted. My husband and I have rescued 10 dogs in almost 39 years, all from North Shore. And I never knew that they are the world's largest no-kill animal shelter. And so I'm beyond words delighted to say that last month I was able to deliver a check to North Shore for $500
Wonderful.
from poetry. And so I thought I would share a couple of my favorites from Dog Speak. In the voice of dogs, remember. We usually have 4 at a time. We had 1 at this point, and that's made me think of this. So this would have been Gumball's Gotcha Day was this week. And so it made me think of that. He's 3. He's 3 now. You and me and he and she. I'm lonely when you're not home. And I know you need to go to work to make bone money. Yeah, money to buy bones, but it's so quiet when you're not here. Can you get me a brother or a sister, a he or a she? I won't love you any less. Won't play favorites between you and him, her. We'll always have kisses for you. But I need someone to romp with. Maybe a puppy to show the ropes to, teach him, her to follow the rules. Outside to do business before play, not to bark at the mailman because he's our friend, though I don't know why. He never brought me anything. Can you get me a brother or sister, a he or a she? I'll teach little newbie how to sit and stay, but no begging. We don't beg here. Dinner is always yummy. Eat it all and then you get a treat. No hogging the bed. Your pillow is off limits. Never, ever under any duress take your shoes or slippers or stinky socks. Can you get me a brother or a sister, a he or she? What do you say? Can I share you? Can you share me and make room for number 3? And that was from hour 6.
That's cute.
This is from hour 7. Nothing better. Bacon. Bacon, bacon. We love bacon. Bacon treats, bacon kibble, bacon gravy on bacon, potatoes, bacon in, on, with everything bacon. You humans are odd. Bacon raw but never crisp, bacon crisp but never raw, bacon strips warmed over, but we don't care. It's bacon. Bacon in the middle of 2 slices of bacon on a bacon bread sandwich with a drizzle of bacon on top. Homemade bacon cookies, hint, hint, wink, wink. Bacon. We love bacon better than anything. Bacon chews, bacon bones, bacon toys, bacon sticks, bacon. Nothing better than bacon. 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 Oh, chicken. Chicken wings. Chicken skin sizzling, chicken treats, chicken kibble, chicken with great chicken gravy. Nothing better than chicken. Oh, wait. Beef.
Very cute. Okay.
Now, this is from hour 9. Dog hair. Always yelling, telling us to get off the couch, the bed, your favorite chair, even outside on the deck to get off your chase lounge. The hair, you say? Yeah, well, we're dogs made of hair. Don't be misguided. We are not common dogs. We don't like hardwood anything. Nothing without tufting. No unfluffy rugs for us. No cold, hard, flat surfaces. Though we have our own padding, we want to curl up and stretch out in an ocean of high density, high quality polyurethane fiber fill. We like to sink to our bellies cushy. We love deep as our knees comfy. We want down-filled pillows under our feet when we walk. We want to roll over and over in a field of cotton clover, a couch of springy, soft foam, recliners covered in silk damask, stuffed with the wool from 1,000 newly shorn sheep, and expect us to leave some dog hair behind because we need to remind you we were there. Brush all you like. Day and night we're dogs. We shed a lot. You should accept that and pardon us. To Helen with the yellin'. We want a nap in the lap of luxury. We want to sleep in doggy sweet dreams on the overstuffed sofa and not have you chase us off. It's only right. We are not common dogs. It's where we belong. After all, that's why they call it furniture. So yeah, it's hard to see the picture, but Gumball is our big, huge baby. And then Munchkin is the Zoomy boy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Munchkin's poem.
Very cute.
Bubble time. I love bubbles. Mommy bought me these things she calls toys, but I can't have them. They make noise, and when I hear the motor start, I run from wherever I am. It's bubble time. I'm spoiled. I have a blue thing, a yellow thing, and the green thing is real loud. I love them all. Once we played in the kitchen, but Daddy said it was too messy, so now we only play outside. Bubble time. Daddy says he's buying stock in a battery company. Mommy pours in some stuff. I stand beside the thing and wait. The blue thing turns in a circle, the yellow one like a carousel. The green one spins sideways. I like that one best. After what seems like a dog year, bubbles pop up and fly. Windy days, they fly in my face, and I get a little scared, but just for a second. Then I chase the bubbles to see how many I can eat. I don't know what they taste like, but I like them. We play, Bubbles and me. When mommy turns off the thing I chuff, she says I'm a soapy mess and I need a bath. I hate that word, and I run to hide in the garden. Daddy laughs. Baths are bubble time, Munchkin. But it's not, I tell him. From my muddy place in the garden, it's not. I whine. It's not the same. But I get a bath anyway.
Very cute.
Okay. Two more. Gumball is, he's on a diet. He's doing good, but he was 140 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks he's 10. Big baby, big baby. And so his favorite words are, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, mommy, I'm hungry, daddy, I'm hungry, hungry, hungry. So the joke was, you need a job. So on hour 23 of the 24 Poetry Marathon, I was a little tired, and this idea came to me. And so, employment application. Name the dog. Skills. Retriever. Fetch and fill with slobber, shred into cross-cut pieces. Landscaper. Unearth anything that makes sound or smells bad. Digger. Unplanter. Uprooter. Demolition expert. Any material, no job too big or small, no cleanup included. Bounty hunter. Animal, vegetable, mineral, anything, anywhere, delivered dead unless otherwise specified. Refrigerator janitor. Clean and clean out, but no kale, broccoli, spinach, nothing green. Greeter. Kisses and free hugs, non-discriminatory, though cats are iffy. Education. Still learning from every fire hydrant, tree, and bush in my neighborhood. No degree. What? Race. Optional. Often, especially down the stairs. Age. Optional. In dog years or human years. Any allergies we should know about? Cats. Available shifts between naps and meals. Salary desired. Bones, kibble, treats, toys, gas money for my humans. When can you start? After lunch, but I have to be home for dinner. I can't stay out after dark. References. Chance, Pebble, Harvey, Opie, Snickers, Munchkin, Gumball, the man who runs the dog park, my humans. Preferred contact method? Whistle.
Then
And even during the marathon, I knew it had to end. And so this poem was in my head straight through. Most of the poems in here are funny, moralistic, and whatnot. And so the last poem in Dog Speak is called Serious Speak. This is from hour 24. Serious Speak. I know you don't like serious conversations, but we need to discuss something. It's important. I need to know that you will be okay when I have to leave. No, I don't know anything you don't. I just have to be sure while I'm here that you will find a life without me. We've had fun together, laughed, cried, learned what we want and like, what makes us who we are, what keeps us together as a team, as family, as soulmates. So wait a little while and get another dog. You're not replacing me. You're taking on my spirit in a different breed and color and temperament. Don't think I'll make it easy for you. Training is important. Thanks. I'm glad we had this talk. Carry on. Okay, let's play. Can I throw the ball this time? Thank you all.
very nice. Thank you, Judy. That was lovely. A lot of fun. I think we have time, Mayor Rosen, for a couple of open readings if people would be interested.
Sure.
If anybody is interested in reading a poem, you can just introduce yourself and read one poem and then see if anybody else wants to do that. Is there anybody interested?
Yeah.
Can I influence anybody? George? No? Northrop?
Hello.
No, you didn't bring anything? Hi. Okay, let me see. Is there anybody else who brought a poem? Yes, please. Please. Go ahead. Where is
Karen can go ahead. She was ahead of me.
Oh, okay. Where is she? Okay, let's find her. Who's going ahead? Let's see. Vicky, Barbara, Violet, Pam. Oh, yes. Karen, please. Unmute yourself, Karen.
Yes,
There you
I
are.
up or
You're on.
I'm on. I thank you. This is called Wild Berries in Sullivan County. In the late days of August, before dawn, my aunt would wake me, hurry me along, get a pail for herself, a smaller one for me, and we would climb in the old Studebaker with the sun just rising, drive a few miles from her home to a neighbor's woods to pick wild blackberries. Me in loose jeans, my aunt's dress billowing, my hair slick and drawn tight into two crisp braids down to my waist. My aunt, blonde hair tucked under her straw bonnet, takes me on a path of low-lying bushes drooping with blackberries, ripening in the haze of early morning. I never minded the sharp nettles, the low branches grabbing my feet, the black ink from the berries smeared on my face or blouse, tapestry gone wild on everything I touched, my skin, my hands, all purple, a color I didn't expect, not from its rouge darkness. My aunt praised me for my diligence, my concentration, and I was proud she picked me, not her own children, all blonde and fair, whose skin would burn and peel from hours in the sun, but not mine, clear and brown, glowing with the sweat of labor, the smell of open fields, the sweetness of the fruit, the sun lopsided in the sky, stunned by its persistence.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. George, did you say you were next? Someone else like to read a poem?
It's me, Robert.
Ah, Robert, please.
Hi, everyone. This is really wonderful, and thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and everyone else in the village for doing this. And I'm very, very touched to be able to be with you. I have a short poem. It's called Minted Value. It's a true story. Minted Value. I recently found a dime lying in a parking lot crevice. It was rather tough to notice, battered and tarnished from being run over probably thousands of times by harried shoppers' car tires. When I arrived home, I took the wounded dime from my pocket and wished it well, hoping it'd be happy among its new friends in the large jar of various coins on the kitchen counter. But then I decided to put the wounded dime on a kitchen cabinet shelf beside a few already kept coins, some for sentimental value, to save it from re-entering circulation. The wounded dime had indeed fulfilled its official duties. During retirement, it would soon recover while sharing stories with the other preserved coins about their many travels when they had proudly displayed their useful minted values.
Hold on. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to read?
Valerie is next.
Oh, thank you. Valerie.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Village of Great Neck Plaza. A wonderful way to celebrate Poetry Month. At the soup kitchen, darkness gets all over everything. Sticky, smudging. Night pressing in, pushing down, weighs like a regret. The moon casts shadows that crimp the heart. Balancing moonlight on her apron, eyes smiling into the longing, a fallen woman wears the Milky Way as she ladles home-cooked charity, bowl after bowl, for her homeless neighbors. Thank you.
Nice. Hi, Patty, did you have something?
Yes, I do. I want to pick up from Judy's. I want there's another shelter in Port Washington, and we recently last month brought home a guest from there.
Oh, nice.
Can you see it?
Yes.
This is Finn. He's got quite a little spirit, and I hadn't written in a while, and he inspired this on the first day of spring. It's very recent. It's entitled "Hard to Believe," and you will see a reference in here to William Butler Yeats's Second Coming. It's a wonderful to read to other poets because you will recognize it. And so it's 3 stanzas of 4 lines each, entitled "Hard to Believe." Hard to believe the pastel promise of spring, while death still reigns on Ukraine. Children starve for want of a bowl of grain. Hostages are tortured in tunnels. Closer to home, the threat of a bloody reign of terror looms larger and larger over the nation, staining my dreams as the rough beast slouches toward fall. So we turn off the news and invite a sweet-tempered dog, the color of Sedona, into our lives. Joyful, yet calm, he graces our home with peace.
Oh, he's beautiful. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else who would like to read a poem to close our Poetry Month celebration?
Evelyn Candell. And then Sasha.
Oh, good. Okay, how about it? I don't like to put people on the spot, but I would love you to read something, Sasha.
Yes, I will.
Good.
Okay, this is a very serious subject. But yes, if only I were 30, or at least had purple hair. If only I were funky to make someone stare. Things would be different. I could celebrate being in with a hot beach tan, not pale complexion, with my fine poems sparked with disaffection, with every lilting vowel inflection. If only I could be blogging or be reading on YouTube. If only I were indifferent with a contemptuous attitude. If only my poems were posted on the web, filled with lines so fun and flirty, even a little bit dirty. If only I were 30.
Oh, loves me. Thank you. Lovely. Sasha?
Yeah, thanks, Ed. As always, you make me smile and laugh.
Yes.
The poems were wonderful. Thank you so much for this beautiful reading. Hidden. Thoughts hidden. Feelings hidden. Words hidden. Books, photos. Lovers hidden. Hidden places. Hidden scars. Daydreams. Stories hidden. Truths hidden. Lies hidden. Needs hidden. Letters, nightmares, desires hidden.
hidden identities, mistakes hidden, hidden longing, tears, questions, doubts, fears, all hidden in a world of hidden memories, under the sea, in the soil, hidden in trees, the stars, glaciers, volcanoes, earthquakes, the sun, the clouds, stories hidden in the imaginations of writers, poets, painters, the imaginations of children, young people, old people, teachers, actors, explorers, architects, sculptors, answers hidden in the random, chaotic, certainty, uncertainty, the familiar, unfamiliar, answers hidden in the beginning, the end, the afterlife, the incarnation, the Zen, the Buddha, the elsewhere, everywhere, the evermore of life, evermore of the universe, hidden in the small hand of a child reaching out in a moment that might occur only once in the vastness of time. Lovely. Thank you, Sasha. Anyone else? Are we done? This has been lovely. I just want to say a few last words and thank all of you for coming, of course, and joining our 14th reading. And thank you to the judge and to all of the fine poets who won prizes and who read their poems today. It was a great privilege. I would like to say just a couple of more things. You'll be able to see the winning poets from now through July on the Village website, www.greatneckplaza.net. Judy Turek's first prize poem is on the website now for the month of April. And Vicky Iorio's will be on for the month of May, and Gladys's will be on for the month of June. So every month there will be a different poet, and you can see it on the website or on signposts around town if you're near Great Neck. And Linda Calabre's and Barbara Siegel's poems will be on the website for 2 weeks each during the month of July. So from now till July, you can read the winning poems that you have heard today. I invite you to join us next year during Poetry Month for our awards reading. And be well, keep writing and reading poetry and listening to it. And I'd like to introduce you again to Mayor Rosen to say goodbye. Ed, you there?
Yes, that was great. Thank you all. Thank you. And congratulations to each of our winning poets. Thank you for sharing your work with us. Thank you to all of the poets who entered the contest. Thank you to those of you that read some of your works here today. Again, we thank our judge, Gail, and thank you to Carolyn for all that you have done to make this possible. We wish all of the poets here today the very best in your continued writing. And thank everybody else who came to this program today. We hope that you found it as enjoyable as I did. And as it was said, as Carolyn said just a minute ago, we look forward to seeing you next year at next year's poetry program. So thank you again for being here and enjoy the rest of the day.